Goku and Vegeta have ascended to the realm of gods, while Piccolo has finally unlocked the power that was dormant within him. As we enter the events of Dragon Ball Super, what's going to change from here on out? We'll be covering all that and more in this 11th part of What If Everything Was Canon. We arrive at the point of Resurrection F. This is going to start out pretty much like normal. Frieza's army goes to Earth, gets the Dragon Balls, revives him, he trains a bit, and then he goes to Earth. The change is when his army actually gets there and encounters all the fighters. They're facing a bigger group this time. It's Gohan, Piccolo, Goten, Trunks, Tien, Krillin, Jaco, Roshi, and Tapion. Not that they were too big of an issue before, but they're even less of an issue now, considering that Piccolo's a lot stronger, and Gohan has kept his ultimate form. I wouldn't say Gohan has grown a ton because, again, he is busier here. He's at that point in his life where he's not going to be training constantly, not like he was before anyways, but he's at least not rusty and hasn't lost access to any forms. Of course, for Piccolo, he has Orange, but it's not like he needs to use that right now. And then Tapion's pretty strong as is. Frieza himself then eventually steps up and he transforms, going into his final form, where he fights Ultimate Gohan. Gohan's able to handle himself pretty well here, and he has a huge strength advantage against Frieza. While he isn't incredibly strong right now, he realizes that he could finish this fight right away, so that's what he goes for. After a very brief clash, he charges a Masenko, launching it directly at Frieza, who, at the very last moment, decides to transform, realizing that things are getting dire. As the ki from Gohan's Masenko dissipates, Frieza's standing there in a new form. That attack stung a bit. Had he not transformed, he probably would have died there, so he commends Gohan for his growth, though his growth is far greater. Golden Frieza now fights against Gohan, and even though Gohan had a good advantage before, now he's falling behind. The tables have completely turned, and unlike what Gohan did trying to finish the fight quickly, Frieza kinda wants to savor this, especially because he hasn't really tested out this form too much in real combat. He's only used it in training. Gohan does hold his own, but it's clear that he's losing ground. But he also notices that Frieza is slowly getting worn out. Despite the great power in this form, he can't control the stamina very well. But Gohan doesn't need to finish the fight. Piccolo swaps in with him, immediately going into his power awakened state and fighting Frieza. With this form he's doing pretty much as well as Gohan, but then he surprises Frieza. Frieza didn't even know that Piccolo could transform. He didn't know Namekians had forms like that. And Piccolo says he's no average Namekian, and this is no average transformation. He then shows off his full power, going into Orange, and he's able to have a pretty good fight with Frieza. He overpowers Frieza a bit, and Frieza's also worn out, so that just makes it even easier for Piccolo. And while he does want to fight a bit, he's also going to do the same thing that Gohan did here and try to finish this as quick as possible. He tells Frieza to consider this payback for Namek, destroying every little bit of him. And just like that, Frieza's defeated. Piccolo was able to defend Earth alongside all the other people there. Naturally, Goku and Vegeta hear about this not too long later. They were actually about to go right to Earth because they sensed it going on, but before Goku teleported there, he was trying to monitor what was happening with the fight and saw that Piccolo probably had this. If at any moment they thought things were going to be really dire, Goku would have teleported in instantly, and he and Vegeta would have handled it, especially because now they have their new Super Saiyan Blue forms. It's kinda sad they didn't get to test it out yet, but they're going to have a new opportunity soon. Champa shows up at Universe 7, and the Universe 6 tournament is set into motion. Goku and Vegeta are pretty impressed with Piccolo's power, and he's a very clear pick for this team. They'd like to have Gohan join too, but he's still busy. Some things never change. Although, after his fight with Frieza, he realizes he needs to get back into training a little bit more. This happened in the main story too, it's just that Gohan was starting from a different point there. He had lost his powers and he's been really rusty. Here, he's not rusty and he has his transformation still. So he got that same kick that he had before, it's just that he can't join the tournament. No Majin Buu means they're going to have someone else in his place. Of course, Monarch still on the team, but for the 5th member, they decide to have Tapion there. Goku and Vegeta go in the time chamber as well. Tapion even joins them too, just to grow even stronger. Now this won't make him incredibly strong or anything, but he's at least going to pick up on Godly Ki, and I feel like this puts him at a comfortable level, like maybe just below where the Saiyans are, and as of now, all 4 of those team members are relative in terms of strength. Though, Goku of course has a trick up his sleeve that's going to make him be the number 1. Anyways, unlike someone like Gohan, Tapion is actually training a lot. He's dedicated to fighting, and he's going to protect his new home by participating in the tournament. Plus, he wants to grow as strong as possible in case he ever faces something like Hirudegarn again. It's a good thing that he has Minosha back, but he never wants to lose his brother again, or lose his own life for that matter. The one downside for him is this tournament has no equipment, so he's not going to be able to bring his sword. That's fine. He's learned to make key swords anyways, which is mainly what he fights with now. The first fight is Goku vs. Batama, which goes like normal, and then Goku vs. Frost, also goes like normal. Piccolo vs. Frost is where things get different because Piccolo defeats Frost before he's even poisoned. Piccolo has such a huge advantage in terms of power here compared to normal that the fight with Frost isn't going to be too big of an issue. Frost won't get a chance to poison Piccolo because it just ends right away. Though Jaco still catches the poison on him, so Goku's going to be reinstated. Next is Piccolo vs. Vegeta, and he's going to defeat him the same way Vegeta did, with an insult. It should be pretty easy for Piccolo. Next is Piccolo vs. Kaba, and Unfortunately, this means Cabba's not going to get Super Saiyan. Sure, he'll learn about the form, but Piccolo's not going to be the best person to teach him about it, nor would he really have any desire to, so Piccolo wins that fight. And now, we're at Piccolo versus Hit. Technically, Universe 7 hasn't lost any fighters yet because Goku only lost due to the poison, so they feel pretty good with no losses so far. But when Piccolo starts fighting Hit, it's really clear that he can't win. He does put up a good fight, especially in Orange, but he has the misfortune of being the first one to face Hit, which is kind of an issue because he doesn't know what he's up against. And second of all, while he is really strong, it's not enough to counter time skip, especially when he knows nothing about time skip. Then we have Tapion versus Hit, and this is pretty much the same case. Though Tapion at least has a little bit of a better understanding of what's going on here, and he fights more defensively. He even tries some new technique of his, like he tries whistling. Without his ocarina here, he's not going to be able to use that to generate force fields or whatever else he does with his ocarina. But he's figured out how to do all the same things with his ocarina without even having the ocarina. Not that it's a huge advantage in battle, just a little thing I want to mention. So he tries fighting defensively and using force fields a bunch, and that prolongs the fight a bit, but it's not enough. Hit wins this fight too. Vegeta was observing for a while, and he actually makes some really good progress against Hit when he fights him. Though Hit has grown in combat due to pure progress, so while Vegeta has more info about him, he's fighting a stronger Hit than he originally did. Though they're slowly starting to get to Hit, Vegeta almost figures out a way around it, but without having a way to hugely increase his power quickly, it's unfortunately not enough for him. This would mean Monaka's up next, but he says maybe Goku should go up before him. Monaka will be saved for last, and you know what? Beerus agrees with that. Champa protests this, saying that they should go in that order. Goku is reinstated, but that doesn't mean they could throw him in whenever they want. But Beerus reminds Champa that one of his fighters was cheating, so he's going to let Goku go up first. Fine, Champa concedes, and thankfully for Monaka, he's going to be last again. Though Champa wonders why he's so adamant on switching the order. With Goku versus Hit, this is pretty much the same thing as normal. Goku uses Blue Kaioken, works around Hit's time skip, and that's that. Followed by him tapping out and then Monaka going up against Hit, with Hit tapping out. Universe 7 gets a victory here just like normal. Next, we have an arc about a villain doppelganger. And I'm not talking about Goku Black, I'm talking about Copy Vegeta. This might be the first time I actually fully cover this in a story. This arc would start pretty much like normal, with Goten and Trunks mistakenly being taken by Monaka's ship. The difference here is that Vegeta goes to the planet and Gohan and Tapion tag along with him. Gohan wants to make up for not being in the tournament, and he bought a little bit of time here just to do so. Of course, Copy Vegeta is still created, but now they have more people ready to fight him. Tapion, Gohan, and now Gotenks are there too. Gotenks is really happy because Goten and Trunks finally had a chance to fuse here, and Gotenks goes Super Saiyan 3. So it's 3v1 against Copy Vegeta, though it doesn't seem like they're able to defeat him right now. But Tapion's able to find the core of Kamasan, and destroying that gives them the opening they need. After Tapion provides that assistance, Gohan and Gotenks launch a combined Kamehameha together. This is enough to completely overwhelm and destroy Copy Vegeta. And thankfully, Goku's no longer having issues with his instant transmission, so that's all good now too. He arrives a little bit late, and he wishes he could have helped, but at least this has been solved. And now we can actually move on to Goku Black. First, let's go to Trunks' timeline. Trunks and Tapion have stopped Boo and Hirudegarn by now. And thanks to the help from Tapion and the extra warning from him, Trunks was able to plan accordingly, and Shin and Kibito are still alive. The two of them have gone back and forth between Earth and the sacred world of Kai. And Trunks has pulled the Z-Sword, but it hasn't been broken. He just simply fights with it like any other sword. As for any other villains, well, Cooler was already defeated in this timeline, although Cooler didn't merge with the Big Getty Star here. The androids are no issue because Trunks already dealt with that, so he doesn't have to worry about 13, 14, 15, or Cell. As for Broly, he never came to Earth in this timeline because, well, there was nothing to do. The planet was pretty much already doomed, and even if Paragus did come here, he would have seen that Vegeta was dead and realized that it wasn't even worth it. Broly's still out there somewhere, and Trunks doesn't know where, but he's prepared if he ever attacks. The only other person he might encounter is Hachiyak, but he already fought him once, he could fight him again. He knows Hachiyak's weakness, and with help from Tapion, they're able to defeat him together. Anyways, Shin is still alive, which means Beerus is still alive. Zamasu saw the tournament, and even though there's a god of destruction here, he still wants to attack this timeline. Trunks is a sinner after all. All he needs to do is just kill Shin, and he'll be good to go. And then he'll go around the other universes doing the same thing. Since Trunks isn't always on the sacred world of Kai, Shin is killed by Zamasu, who's now become Goku Black and has teamed up with the Zamasu of this timeline. The two of them then teleport to Earth. And right away, Goku Black starts causing havoc. Very quickly he's found by Trunks, alongside Tapion and Minosha. The issue for Goku Black is that Trunks is a lot stronger here. He's had more fights. Hirudegarn was freed in this timeline too, and he had to fight against him, though he did know about Hirudegarn's weakness, thankfully. But still, he had that fight, he had the Hachiyak fight, and then all the extra fights in the past that he didn't have originally in the manga. Trunks has long ascended Super Saiyan 2 and even has Super Saiyan 3 by now, though it's not really too efficient. But even so, his Super Saiyan 2 is really strong, just because his base has grown so much as well. Basically what I'm trying to say is that Goku Black's kinda screwed right off the bat. Trunks is really powerful, especially with Tapion on his side, and Minotia does provide some help too. Goku Black is nearly killed, which forces Zamasu to reveal himself. He has to heal Goku Black, and things all seem good now. Especially because Goku Black gets a really nice boost in power from this, growing from the pain, transforming into his Super Saiyan. He still is pretty new with Goku's body so far, because the Zero Mortals plan has just started. The group splits up. Trunks fights Goku Black, as Tapion and Minotia fight against Zamasu. Goku Black has grown a decent amount thanks to this, and Trunks still seems to have the upper hand, but he has to use Super Saiyan 2 to even fight against him right now. Goku Black's even able to break Trunks' sword in half, forcing Trunks to fight with his fist only. As they continue on fighting, Zamasu fights against Tapion, and Tapion comes to see really quick that Zamasu is immortal. At least, he assumes this, but Zamasu then eventually reveals it, monologuing about their plan. Alright, well, Tapion thinks this shouldn't be too big of an issue because he has an idea of how to defeat an immortal person. Hirudegarn's already been freed from him, so he could be the vessel for someone else right now if he wants to. And he's not worried about housing Zamasu. He's far stronger than Zamasu at the moment, so Zamasu is going to be sealed away within Tapion. Together, the two brothers work to seal him, and they're successful. Zamasu doesn't expect this at all, so he has no way to counter it. He actually barely knows anything about Tapion, so he's defeated by surprise. And now Goku Black's realizing that he's probably going to lose, because Trunks is getting the upper hand, and Tapion and Minotia jump back in the fight against him. Trunks briefly goes into Super Saiyan 3 and tells Tapion that he's ready to finish this. He grabs onto his broken sword, creating one made of ki. He and Tapion lunge forward, slicing right through Goku Black, killing him with this combined attack. The Zero Mortals plan has been thwarted and the future is safe. Though, there is an issue. Shin is dead, which means Beerus is dead. Not that Trunks even knows who he is right now. Though, it is kind of a shame because he has no way to bring Shin or Kibito back. They don't have any sets of Dragon Balls. But then they hear a voice nearby. An older looking Kai is standing there, and they're really confused, but they learn that this is Elder Kai and he was sealed away in that Z-sword that just broke. And he learns of Shin's death, and he decides he's going to help out. He still wants this universe to have a Supreme Kai, and he's far too old for that. He's past his time anyways. So out of the blue, he just falls asleep right in front of these two, and then falls over. He then stands back up and has a halo on his head. He tells them everything's okay now. He just gave up his life to revive Shin. Oh, well, that was easy. Too bad for Kibito though, he's gonna still remain dead. So now, they're gonna have to warn the present timeline about Zamasu. But the present timeline has already been warned, and Zamasu has been dealt with in the past. Since the timelines run parallel, and Goku Black is killed a year earlier here, Trunks also returned a year earlier. Zamasu stealing Goku's body still happens in the alternate timeline around the same time as normal, but it wouldn't affect what happens in the main timeline because they already split. I know, things get really confusing with the timelines, but in Dragon Ball it's like these things work just off of vibes alone. But paradoxes aside, the point is, sometime after Battle of Gods and before Frieza's revival, Trunks had already returned to the past and warned everyone. So, things are already all good in the present, and the present timeline moves forward in peace after Copy Vegeta. With Trunks' timeline also moving forward in peace too, and everything's looking optimistic. With that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me I want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.